Alright, so get out your paper pad, and we are looking for this page here. Has the larger roses on the front. And we are going to cut this down. Let me cut the tab off first. Alright, we're going to go to 8 minus 1/16 of an inch and cut. Go to 10 minus 1/16 of an inch and cut. And that's going to be our base page. Now on this on this page I have a pocket, and if you in your scratch paper you should have some leftovers. I don't want it quite this wide. Let me see. Let's make it 2.5 inches plus our die cut. Tell you what, let's go ahead and get some black cardstock. Sorry. And we're going to cut it down to 10 inches. And just for now, let's go ahead and cut it 4 inches. Alright, because we're going to have a die cut on this one. Back to the Heartfelt Creations Regal Borders and Pockets. We want the very top one here that we used once already in the album. See if y'all can see that one, which one I'm using. So we're going to find the center of our paper, which we know is 10 inches wide. So we're going to mark it at 5 inches. And we're going to center our die cut on that. Mine's been used so much it's starting to curve. Oh, that's the wrong top. This is the top I need. Ah, much better. So just center it on that mark that you made. And we're also going to try and center it on both sides so we're not leaning. So this one needs to go down 1/2 inch. And we're going to hold that in place with some washi tape. And if you just bear with the noise after I plug it in, and I'm going to run that through real quick. Alright. that's the only thing about Heartfelt Creations. That color, that bright pink color, comes off on my paper. So if anyone has any suggestions about how for it not to do that, I'll set this aside and clean it in a minute. And like our other one, we're going to take our cutting pad. Stick that down, buddy. You can see my cutting pad isn't very long. And I'm trying to straighten it up. What I'm going to do is cut from here to here, and then the same on this other side. But try and make it straight. Now this one's a little harder for me because, like I said, I am left-handed. Try to straighten that up there. And I see I'm going to have to snip it just a little tiny bit here in the corner. And this one too. There we go. Oh, little pieces still didn't come out. And now we have our pocket. Let's put this up. Get our scrap. Let's see how much we have here. Let's see. Let's cut it at 2 5/8. So first we're going to go to the 10" minus 1/16 of an inch. And then we're going to cut it at, let me double check. 2 5/8 is what I'm thinking. No, that's not right. I'm sorry, guys. 1/4. 2 3/8. So that's 1/4 plus the next one. Oh, love those rulers. Not. Somehow mine ended up a little crooked. I don't have enough room. So I'm going to cut it down another 1/16 of an inch. Let's see how that one works. That is better. We'll go ahead and glue this one down. On this pocket we have some lace and bling and a little gemstone. We'll go ahead and get it on our page though before we add all of that. I believe where I got off was when I cut that, it's higher than that side. So hopefully y'all did better than me. Alright, so take our page. We're making a pocket, so we need tape on 3 sides. Close up my glue real quick. Alright, so make sure we're 10 inches. This here, because our pocket is going to be a side pocket like this. So let's take off our backing. And we're going to put this edge all the way to the edge of our page. There we go. Oh, God, I just don't want to stay down. Okay, and we have ribbon. Let's see where I put it. And then we have bling. And then we have a gemstone. I can't find where I put my ribbon. A snake, it would have bit me. Okay, cut this off the edge real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac glue to put this down. See, I told you, life being left-handed can sometimes be a pain in the tush. Alright, well, I'll start it upside down. And I'll flip it. Let's cut it about right here. And then if I need to cut it again, I can cut it again. I just need to get it off that roll. Alright. We're going to start gluing it down. Dang, my glue is coming out like crazy. Oh, really? My glue just burn it all over the place. Alright, maybe Fabri-Tac glue was not a good idea. See if I can get this mess cleaned up. Y'all can go ahead and laugh at me. It's alright. Let me trim off this excess. I'll trim it a little bit more. Piece of fuzz right there. Alright, now we're going to take our gem. So I can get some of this glue off my hands. Go ahead and measure mine out. And we'll start putting that down. What is wrong with me and glue today? Jeez. And next we have one of these little gemstones that I put in the center. I hope I ain't putting my big head in y'all's way. Alright, let's move this on a little faster. There we go. And I'm going to take one of my gemstones. You use anything that you have in your stash. And I have it centered right on this little cut here. Just goes down just like that. And this one is finished, and we'll go ahead and grab your album and we will place it inside. And I'm just going to use wet glue for this page. Just center it. Top, bottom, left, right, as center as you possibly can. Bottom part cut off a little bit. That's better. Glue everywhere. Alright, now for our next page, we are going to use the same background. So flip through and find again this page here. Let's set this out of the way to dry. So we're going to cut our tab off the top. Whoops. There we go. Alright. 8 inches minus 1/16 and cut. 10 inches minus 1/16 and then cut. Now we have our base page. Okay. We have one die cut. It's from the Cascading Grace Pocket. Previously we used only the top portion. Where did it go? Put that back in there. This time we're going to use the bottom portion. And I didn't, well, we'll cut it out and then I'll explain it. So take some of your scrap cardstock. And it doesn't matter how we lay it out. I think it doesn't matter. Let me think for just a minute, please. Yeah, it cuts around the edges. Okay. Alright, I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine real quick. Come on. that aside to clean later. Poke out all that extra. I really have glue like everywhere. I'm poking these out and I'm trying to remember how I did this all at the same time. Because I can tell by looking at the album that I made that you can't see the folds. So how this thing goes is you fold on these score lines. But I can tell that you can't see them, so I'm thinking that I cut the score lines and then just glued on the edges. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to follow this score line, and then I'm going to cut these tabs off. I'm not very good at cutting a straight line, but I should just put it on my cutting board. There we are. So what we have is, just like in my previous album, we have a little pocket down here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down real close to the bottom, like 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. I'm going to just take my glue and go around all three of these edges. And just eyeball its center from side to side and about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And on our little cutter quartz that we had, let me pick one. I love you. We're going to take some of our scrap cardstock. If I can find a piece that it'll fit on. Is that too big? Yeah, too small. Oh, come on. Alright. And we're going to glue this down and then cut around it. Ow, poo. See, I told you I'm having a hard time with glue today. Now we're just going to cut around the edges about the 1/16 of an inch. And he just slides right in there. Alright, Now we need to make our top portion. We have a waterfall, 3 pages. So we're going to do 4 by 6. I don't think that's going to work. I'm thinking maybe 3 by 5 is fine. Yeah, let's do 4 by 6. Take our bone folder. Make sure all that is adhered down. I know it takes a lot of time to cut into the paper like that, but I think it just looks so much better than having that black flap showing behind it. But it definitely is a lot of extra work. Make sure that's good and adhered, because we do not want our paper to tear while we're moving these flaps. Alright. And there we go. We have another page down. Let's move on to the next page. Alright, for our next page, we're going to get out our paper pad, and we're looking for this page with the black background and the pink roses. And we're actually going to tear out 2 of these. Okay, starting with our base page, we're going to get out our cutter. I'm going to cut off this little tab on the top. And then for our base page, we're going to go to 8 inches minus a 1/16 of an inch and cut. Put that one in our scrap pile. We're going to go to 10 minus 1/16 of an inch and then make a cut. And that's going to be our base page, and this one has a pocket. Let's see. So we're going to take our other piece, the flip side. I'm going to cut this tab off. And this one we're going to cut at 8 inches wide minus 1/16 of an inch. Put that one in our scraps. And we're going to cut this at 6 inches. Let me double check. Yes, 6 inches tall. And then we're going to take some black cardstock. We're going to cut it at 8 inches. minus 1/16 of an inch. I believe I used black on this one. It's kind of hard to tell in the picture, but we're going to use it. And then 6 inches. Okay. I did use a die cut for this one. I used the Classic Border Basics. Let's see what we got. So I used the third one down. I believe that's it. And then the one right above it. Yes, that is it. So we're going to take our white cardstock, and I am, well, that's the exact same size. Let me try that again. My apologies, ladies. Let me see what I did here. I should have cut that black one at 8, but let's fix it. Let's take our cardstock, and we're going to do 7 7/8. Which, if you look at your ruler, it's 8 inches minus 1/16 and then another 16th. And then that way, there we are. We have a little black border on each side. And then for the top, we're going to go to 6 inches minus 1/16. And that should fit. Just as long as you have a little border around the edges. Okay, I'm going to take some, and we're going to take our washi tape, and we're going to tape down our design paper to our cardstock so it doesn't move around while we're cutting. Then we're going to find our center, which I'm going to do it at 4 inches. Then we're going to take our die cut set, and we're going to center it on that mark. Then I'm going to make sure that my height on each side is about the same. And then tape that down. And if you just bear with me 1 minute, I'm going to run that through my die cut machine real quick. Okay, so we're going to take that off. Now, while our paper is still together, our edges do not cut all the way to each end. So while the paper is still together, I'm going to take my scissors, excuse me, and I'm going to finish cutting that like so. I'm on both sides. There we go. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the washi tape off here real carefully, not to tear the paper. There we go. And then we're going to glue that down to one another. After I get all the little pieces out here. I'll tell you what, we'll just carry on. I'll do that later. That's a little time consuming. Alright, so we're going to put glue on the back. Alright, now take our base page and we're going to put score tape around 3 sides. Okay, pull up the backing. And we're going to line that up with the bottom and adhere that down. Okay, I have a little pocket here. You can use whatever die cut, or even if you just want to use like a Martha Stewart punch and make a little pocket. I used a die that I received from AliExpress. So I'm going to go ahead and get some black cardstock. Find one of my little scraps. Yeah. And I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine real quick. And I'm actually going to pause because this one takes a little bit of time to clean up all the little intricate spots. And then I will be right back with y'all. Alright, so I have my little piece ready to glue down. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And then for the little pocket, I have Doubt Your Doubt. So I'm going to find a little bit of scrap paper. Here we go. And then I'm going to glue that down and then trim around it. And I want just a little border of black around the edges. And that's going to slide in like that. But first we need to take our bling on a roll, and we need to add that around the top of our pocket. Alright, so I'm going to take my glue gun, and if you're using this die, it leaves an impression, and I'm just going to follow that around. Or if you're using a straight pocket with a different type of Martha Stewart punch, just follow it along and it'll dress it up a little bit. Got a little too much glue on this one. I'm starting to run out of bling on the roll. See if I can find more in my stash. Alright, let me try and grab another glue stick. We're almost there. Okay. I'm going to take our scissors and cut off our excess. Then I used another one of the little gemstones. So whatever you ladies have in your stash, please use it. And I just centered it right there. Alright, and there we have our next page. So let's grab our album. Flip to our next page. And this one I'm just going to glue down with excuse me, with wet glue. Okay, we're going to try and get it centered all around. There we go. Alright, put our little, and then I'll make some photo mats for that later. Alright, so take out your paper pad, and we want to go again to the dark background with the pink roses, and pull that out. And then go through your scraps, and we're going to pull our extra that we had for this one, the long piece that we had left over, and our feathers that we have left over. Alright, starting with our base page, I'm going to cut off this tab, and then we're going to cut our page. We're going to go to 8" minus 1/16 of an inch, cut, 10 inches minus 1/16 of an inch, and cut. Then we're going to take our 4" wide section of our leftover piece, and we're going to cut it down. We're going to go to 8 minus 1/16 and cut. And that's going to leave us with our little bottom pocket. Then we're going to take our cardstock, some black cardstock. We're going to put it at 4 1/4 and cut. And then for the width, we're going to go to 8 inches minus 1/16 and cut. We're going to take this, set it aside for now, and we have our pocket ready to go. So I'm going to take some washi tape. We're going to tape those two pieces together. Then on your classic border basics, we're going to use the two at the very top. So let me show you which one I have. I have this piece here, and then the top that goes to that. So So we're going to center or find the center of our page, which is going to be approximately 4 inches, and we're going to make a mark. And we're going to center our dies on that mark. And then we're going to make sure it's straight on both ends. And we're going to, whoop, just moved it. Alright, we're going to tape that down. I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine real quick. Okay, now I'm going to take off this top real carefully. I'm still keeping my 2 pages bound. We're going to take some scissors and cut the edge where our die cut didn't reach. So I'm just going to take it and give it just a little bit of a curve. Alright, and we're going to take that off. I'm looking at this now. I think this pocket is a little bit taller. And also, you know what, ladies? I think I messed up. I'm looking at my video of my other one, but it's fixable. What I did was, in this set, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 up from the top. Alright, if you can see, it's just a single straight line. And I used that and cut the paper, and then the black peeked out across the top. I do apologize. I should have realized that by looking at it. But it's a really easy fix, and we're going to waste very little paper. So when you ran this through the die cutting machine, it left an engraved mark on your paper. So we're going to take this and tape it down right on top of that embossed mark or engraved mark, and then we're going to cut it. I should have made this video before I sold the album, and I would have caught that. Alright, now I'm going to run this through the die cut machine. Just 1 second. Now again, the die cut didn't reach all the way over, so I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to make a little cut following that curve on both sides. That actually makes a really pretty leftover piece. I'm going to set this aside and see if I can't use it for something else. Alright. Now, once I clean this piece up, that is how it is in the album. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to clean out this die cut and I'll be right back with y'all. Alright, so I have my piece cleaned up, and I don't like that I have such a large gap here at the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down, and then I'm going to trim that excess off the bottom. So however yours end up and however much space you like, you just adjust yours however you want, however you feel you need to. I'm just going to take my cutting board and I'm just going to trim that a little bit. There we go. Now we can take our base page and we're going to go ahead and glue this one down. Get your adhesive. Put it on the 3 sides. Now we have our sheet. We're going to put it all the way down to the bottom. And adhere that down. And now we have 2 flaps on the side that we need to make. So I use some of the ephemera cards. So if you don't have any, just cut out anything from the paper collection, because they're still 4x6. I'm just trying to get mine exactly like the album that I previously made. So this is going to be a side flap. So we're going to find some black cardstock. Like I said, this is 4x6. So we are going to cut our paper. We're going to go to 4 1/8 of an inch. And on this one, we're going to go to 6 5/8. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and glue that down. Set that aside for a minute. And then take our scoreboard and we want to score it at 1/2 inch. Alright. Now on the back side, I did a little belly band, so I'm just going to take a scrap piece of cardstock. Let me go ahead and cut it down a little bit. Let's see, we're 4 inches wide. Let's just cut it down at 5 inches wide. I used the Martha Stewart punch. It's the little scalloped edges. I guess that's what you would call it, or a fan maybe. So I'm going to go ahead and punch down one side. Let's see, I only want a little bit about 1/2 inch wide. So you go ahead and measure yours. I'm just making a little belly band, and I want to put just a small piece of cardstock in the center of it. This, if you're using this particular punch, it's a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to measure from the bottom of the punch this way, and I'm going to cut my paper at 1 inch. So you just measure it as to whichever punch that you have. Let me get through it and explain to you exactly what all I'm doing, and then maybe that'll make better sense for y'all to figure out with whichever stamp that y'all are using. Whoop, I missed one. I'm going to try that again. There we go. Let me see what color paper I used. Looks like I just used this black rose paper. Now see what I'm talking about? I want it both sides with the little strip in the center, and I'm going to cut out that rose paper. Mine's a 1/2 inch by 5. Yeah. So I'm just going to take my little leftovers and cut it down to a 1/2 inch and glue it in the center. And then also for this back sheet, I use the scraps. Let's see here. It's the one with the wood grain on it. There we go. And we're going to take that and cut it down to 4 by 6. Then we're going to take our little belly band and just center it there, flip it over, fold down our sides, and then we're going to glue that down in place. glue it down on the back of your flap. Okay, now we have another larger flap that we used. Let's see which ones. This paper. Let's see what size we need this to be. So if we have this one here, that's definitely too big. Let's make this one a 5 by 7. So I'm going to go to 5. Hold on. I'm going to go to 5 minus 1/16 of an inch. And then go to 7 minus 1/16 of an inch. Per usual, we want our black border. Then we're going to take some scrap cardstock. I don't think I have any quite that big. Well, let's just, and we're going to cut it down 5 by 7 5/8 because we want to have that. Well, let's do 7. What I was thinking, because I want that extra gap. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and let's do it this way. We're going to go ahead and glue down our piece, make our scores, and then we'll figure out for our length of our extra tab. So take your scoreboard, okay, so my paper is lining up, the design paper is on 7, so I'm going to make a score at 7 1/8, and then another score at 7 1/4. So 7 1/8, 7 1/4. And that way we did like the previous page. This one is going to fold over the top of this one, so we need that extra width in between those scores for it to lay correctly. So go ahead and score it, fold it at both sides. Or fold it on both scores. Then we can trim off our excess paper. So line up your second score at 1 inch. I'm sorry, at a 1/2 inch. And then cut. And that'll give you, I don't know if y'all can see it there, that little U. Alright, let me check and see what we have on the back of this flap. Alright, I used the scraps with the world picture on it, which is the back of our feathers. Y'all can use whichever piece that y'all want. cut it down. We did 5 by 7. Let me double check. Alright, we went to 5 minus 1/16. 5 minus 1/16. 7 minus 1/16. I don't think I want to turn this around. I want to keep those pretty roses on it. And we're going to glue that down to the inside. I think this would be a good place to put a magnet. Let's do that real quick. I'll put some tape on. There we go. I'm going to turn it like this. There we are. Now take, alright, so let's take our first flap, the smaller one. Put some glue on your tab. The glue stopped up. Alright, like I said, we're going to put it about 2 inches from the bottom. I'm going to put the edge of the paper all the way up to that score line, but not going over it. Alright, then we're going to take our second flap and we're going to put glue all the way up to that first score line. And we're going to put that about a 1/2 inch from the top. And just put your paper all the way up to that first score line. There we are. And then we need to place our magnet, so we're going to flip it over. See, find where that magnet is. There we are. Put some glue down. Put our magnet in place, and then I'm going to put some tape over it. And this one's ready for our album, so we'll grab that. Flip to our page. And we're going to take our score tape and put it around all the corners, or all the edges, sorry. Make sure those are adhered down. Now take off the backing and we're going to add some wet glue. Don't forget your one on your little magnet. And I'm going to go ahead and take my white piece of cardstock so I can make sure that I'm on the correct page and placing it correctly. Take my glue. Alright. Now we just want to center our cardstock onto our page. There we go. Alright, now you just need to add your photo mats. And I'm going to take a little break, and on my next video we will finish the next pages, work on the back cover, and then if we have enough time we'll do the outside spine. So I will see y'all later. Bye bye.